Beth reached for her. "Don't!" Michael didn't look at Beth. His eyes stayed locked on Lucia.
"Hands only. Get her hands sorted."
He tracked her gaze into the black wall of jungle. Nothing, just dark. He turned back to the rest.
You wake up. You grab your phone.
Your brain wants proof of existence. Likes, comments, reviews. Doesn't matter. It needs the feed.
Keane didn't move.
"Hey, you. Imagine yourself in this situation. Then you get famous. Talk shows dissect you live. Cameras at every corner. A room full of thumbs up and thumbs down. You feel the blood pressure drop before the verdict lands."
He tossed the stick into the dirt.
The brain gets hooked, not on praise, on the chaos, on the unpredictable hit. It stops reacting to the applause. It craves the countdown.
Then the network crashed.
Lyra cut in, her voice barely a whisper.
And the recovery time went to 0.
Exactly.
Michael glanced at Lucia.
I know the mechanics. It's my job.
Stan finally looked up, his face grim.
She looks like she is.
She's crashing,
Michael said, cutting him off.
Right now, her brain is scanning for a signal and finding dead air. This isn't madness, Stan. It's withdrawal. Don't comfort her. Don't fill the silence. Pity is just another fake signal. Let her sit in the void. It's the only way she resets.
The jungle roared on, indifferent. Michael stood. He held out his hand to Lucia. Not gently, not dramatically. The way you'd offer a hand to someone who needed to stand up, not fall down.
Fire's up.
Lucia looked at his hand. Then she took it. She stood.
In the Amazon, the ground is the enemy. It's a digestive system of mud, rot, and insects. To stay on the ground is to be consumed. They needed an outpost, a clean zone where the rules of the civilized world still applied. The decision to build wasn't about comfort, it was about sanity. The work had been grinding on for days. Time in the jungle had lost its edges, bleeding into a relentless cycle of hacking through vines and fighting for every inch of dry ground. Everything that might seem like an ordinary branch or bush might turn out to be a predator or carry dangerous toxins and poisons. Michael and Keane had ripped the guts out of the Gulfstream. Honeycomb floor panels still covered in hand-tufted wool, carpet worth more per square foot than most people's rent, now sat directly in the mud. $50,000 of beige luxury, slowly absorbing the jungle floor. On the roof, composite panels formed the base, layered under palm fronds and emergency foil. Beyond the ash trench, Michael had rigged a perimeter, low tripwires of nylon shroud lines and copper wiring pulled from the fuselage. From them hung empty soda cans, jagged aluminum strips, catering tins. In the breeze, they clinked with a hollow, metallic jitter. If you couldn't see the threat, you had to hear it coming. Chen braided hammock ropes from strips of upholstery, blue fabric, suspended by jungle vines, half a meter above the ground. Keane's wash basin, a plastic bottle with scorched holes in the cap, hanging upside down from a branch, dripped in a slow metronomic rhythm. Near the entrance, an airplane oxygen mask hung from a low branch. Nobody had put it there deliberately. It had just ended up there, swaying slightly in air that wasn't moving. Surrealist decor, a silent, twitching reminder of the world they'd fallen out of. Lucia wrestled a heavy palm frond toward the roof. Her first time doing anything with her hands. Real labor, clumsy and graceless. The serrated edge snagged her white gauze and split the fabric, revealing her palm. The jagged, purple-rimmed crescents where her own nails had bitten into her skin during the worst of the withdrawal. She didn't cry out. She just stared at the marks, like a map of a country she'd never visited. Beth was there in 2 steps. No pity. She took Lucia's wrist, grip firm and clinical.
Hold.
She wound a fresh strip over the split and tucked the end in.
Again.
She said, nodding at the roof. Lucia looked at the clean white strip over the old damage. She nodded once, sharp, jerky, and reached for the next leaf. Nobody cheered. Nobody noticed. It was the first time in 48 hours she'd done something for someone other than herself. They'd been clocked long before the first branch snapped, shadows moving in sync with the machetes. Patient, waiting for the right moment, Michael set down his sharpened aluminum and reached for his water bottle. The canopy gave a tiny, mocking shiver. The bottle was gone. He looked up slowly. A capuchin monkey sat on a branch above him, white-faced and self-satisfied, shaking the bottle like a trophy.
It chattered something sharp and derisive, then hurled it into the green. In the same breath, 2 more blurred through camp, snatched the aluminum. Michael stared at the empty patch of dirt. Bastards in balaclavas! For the first time in hours, the corner of Lyra's mouth moved, just barely.
Nobody chased them. They already knew how that movie ended. Keane built the filter in silence.
Plastic bottle, no bottom. Layers packed tight. Fabric, sand, charcoal from the fire, sand again. He held it over a metal cup and poured the stream water in, brown, heavy with sediment. It started to drip. Clear. Almost.
Boil it after.
Keane said.
The filter takes the dirt. The fire takes the rest.
Lucia watched the drops fall. It wasn't wonder. It was something simpler. The first clean logic she'd seen in days. Dirty went in, clean came out. No algorithm, no spin, just cause and effect. She didn't say anything, but she watched until the last drop fell.
Night fell like a curtain dropping on a stage that had run too long.
2 fires, a Dakota pit for cooking, low smoke, high heat, invisible from above. A smoky beast at the entrance, a horizontal wall of haze that kept the mosquitoes screaming just outside the perimeter. Inside the shelter, Beth had set a clay bowl of smoldering herbs. The smell was strange, bitter. It worked. Somewhere beyond the smoke line, something made a sound. Low, lazy, deep. Not a jaguar. Something with more weight. Nobody asked what it was. Keane didn't sleep. He lay in the hammock, the casino chip dancing across his knuckles. The heavy ceramic, with its distinct ribbed edge, bit into his skin, giving his brain its only tangible anchor in a world where the rules no longer applied.
He got up and stepped out past the overhang. He tilted his head back. The stars were screamingly bright. He scanned them for minutes, squinting, turning his head like he was trying to read a blueprint in a dark room. The fine print was off. The constellations didn't quite lock into his mental map. It was a fraction of a degree, a hair's breadth. But for a man who lived by the stars, a hair's breadth was a canyon. Near the entrance, Stan sat with his back against a support post, facing the jungle. Not sleeping, listening. His head was tilted at the angle of a man who spent 30 years reading the sky. On the ground beside him,
A plastic sheet had been rigged to catch the rain runoff from the roof. A crude collection system, the open end funneling into a large container. Every few seconds, bloop. A drop fell. Then another. Bloop. Stan looked at the container. Water collecting in the dark. A new sound in a place that had no use for new sounds. He reached into his chest pocket. The Bible was there. Worn spine, soft cover. He didn't open it. He just held it for a moment, feeling the weight of it.
Lucia and Lyra were the last ones by the dying embers. Lucia stared into the red glow.
I knew who I was at 8.
She said to the fire.
Mama told me, you're the face. You're the brand. I couldn't just be a kid. I had to exist in the lens.
Lyra didn't move.
Here? No lens. Even the monkeys stole from Michael, not me. I'm not even a blip on their radar. The scary part? I don't know who I am when the power goes out.
Lyra looked at her hands. In the firelight, they looked like an X-ray, all bone and shadow.
The worst part isn't being invisible.
Lyra said. Her voice was too flat for 14.
The worst part is when they stop seeing you and start loving what you produce. And you start vanishing behind your material. You look in the mirror and you're gone. There's only the work.
Lucia's head snapped around. She looked at Lyra for a long moment.
How the hell do you know that?
Lyra blinked. Something shifted behind her eyes. There, then gone.
I don't know.
She whispered. The fire popped. A spark flew and died in the dirt. Lucia held her gaze. Then,
Are you really 14?
Lyra reached into her pocket. The MX switch clicked.
15 soon.
Click. Click. Keane heard every word from the shadows. He hadn't moved. Material. Not a word for a kid from Alexandria. Not a word for a middle schooler. That was industry. That was experience. That was something that didn't fit. And he'd been collecting the things that didn't fit since the first night. He filed it away, next to the stars that were wrong by a hair's breadth, next to the girl who hadn't screamed when the plane went down. A howler monkey roared somewhere in the black, long, guttural, like the jungle clearing its throat. Lyra hit the switch one last time. Click. The rhythm. The only thing that didn't lie.